You probably think you can spot a highly intelligent person the moment they walk into a room. But psychology says you almost certainly cannot. Because the smartest people in the room rarely act the way you expect them to. They are not the loudest. They are not the ones showing off what they know. In fact, many of the habits that signal high intelligence look nothing like intelligence at all. Some of them look like laziness. Some look like awkwardness. Some even look like weakness. Here are 10 psychology facts about the habits of highly intelligent people. And the last one might change how you see yourself. Fact 1. They spend a lot of time alone. Highly intelligent people are often alone. Not because nobody wants to be around them, but because their brain actually needs it. The part of your brain responsible for deep thinking, planning, and problem-solving works best when it is not being interrupted by social noise. Here is the strange part. For most people, spending time with friends makes them happier. But for highly intelligent individuals, the opposite is true. More social interaction actually makes them less satisfied. Their brain treats solitude like a workspace. Interrupting them socially is like unplugging a computer in the middle of processing something important. They are not antisocial. Their brain is just busy building something you cannot see. Fact 2. They ask questions that seem obvious. Most people stop asking questions when they think they already know the answer. Highly intelligent people do the opposite. They ask questions about things everyone else takes for granted. Why does this work this way? Why do people do that? What am I missing here? Albert Einstein once said that he had no special talent. He was only passionately curious. And that is not just a nice quote. When curiosity is triggered, the brain releases dopamine, the same chemical associated with pleasure. For highly intelligent people, asking questions literally feels good. Their brain is wired to chase understanding the way other brains chase entertainment. The irony is that people who ask too many questions often seem annoying or slow, but they are actually processing deeper than everyone around them. Fact 3. They talk to themselves. If you catch yourself talking out loud when nobody is around, you might be smarter than you think. When you verbalize your thoughts, your brain engages both the language system and the memory system at the same time. This creates a double processing loop that helps you think more clearly and solve problems faster. Here is the interesting part. Children do this naturally all the time. Most adults stop because society tells them it looks strange. But highly intelligent adults often keep doing it because their brain figured out it works better that way. They chose function over appearance. And that in itself might be a sign of intelligence. Fact 4. They are comfortable saying I do not know. Most people feel embarrassed to admit they do not know something. Highly intelligent people feel the opposite. They are often the first to say I do not know, and they mean it. There is a well-known pattern in psychology where people with less knowledge tend to overestimate what they know, while people with more knowledge tend to underestimate it. In other words, the less you know, the more confident you feel. And the more you know, the more you realize how much you are missing. That is why the smartest person in the room is often the quietest. Not because they have nothing to say, but because they understand the weight of being wrong. Fact 5. They overthink almost everything. A highly intelligent brain rarely shuts off. The same thinking patterns that help solve complex problems also fire during ordinary moments. Choosing what to eat. Replaying a conversation from 3 days ago. Imagining 5 possible outcomes of one small decision. People who think more also tend to worry more. Their brain does not just think harder. It thinks deeper, wider, and longer than it needs to. This is the dark side of intelligence that nobody talks about. The same brain that can solve difficult problems can also torture itself with imaginary ones. Overthinking is not a flaw. It is an overclocked processor that cannot find the off switch. Fact 6. They have a dark or unusual sense of humor. Comedy is one of the most complex things the brain can do. To be funny, your brain has to recognize a pattern, set up an expectation, and then break it in a way that surprises but still makes sense. That requires pattern recognition, timing, emotional intelligence, and creativity all firing at the same time. Researchers found that people who scored highest on intelligence tests also scored highest on understanding and creating dark humor. Not simple jokes. Complex, layered, sometimes uncomfortable humor. So the next time someone laughs at something nobody else finds funny, consider the possibility that their brain just processed something the rest of the room has not caught up to yet. Fact 7. They change their mind and do not feel weak for it. Most people treat their opinions like part of their identity. Changing your mind feels like losing. But highly intelligent people treat their beliefs like software. When better information arrives, they update. Most people would rather be consistently wrong than publicly change their mind. Intelligent people would rather be temporarily embarrassed than permanently incorrect. That willingness to update is not indecisiveness. It is intellectual honesty, and it is one of the rarest traits in human psychology. Fact 8. They are more active at night. If you do your best thinking after midnight, there might be a real reason for it. Studies have found a noticeable link between higher intelligence and a preference for staying up late. One theory suggests that the human brain evolved to be most active during daylight. People with higher mental flexibility adapted to shifting their best thinking to nighttime when fewer distractions compete for brain space. But here is a catch that most people miss. Staying up late only benefits your brain when you use that time for thinking, creating, or solving problems. If you are staying up late scrolling your phone, your brain is not getting sharper. It is getting drained. The benefit comes from what you do with the quiet hours, not the hours themselves. Fact 9. They watch before they speak. In most social situations, the loudest person gets the most attention. But highly intelligent people often do the opposite. They observe first. They watch how people interact, read emotional cues, notice body language, and map out the social dynamics of the room before they say a single word. By the time they speak, they have already gathered more information than most people collect in an entire conversation. This is often mistaken for shyness or disinterest, but it is neither. It is data collection. And when they finally do speak, what they say tends to carry more weight because it was not impulsive. It was thought through. Fact 10. They feel like something is missing even when life is good. This is the psychology fact about intelligence that almost nobody discusses. Many highly intelligent people experience a quiet, persistent feeling that something is missing. Not depression, not sadness, just a background sense that there should be more to life than what is visible on the surface. A brain that processes more deeply also questions more deeply. Why am I here? Why does this matter? What is the point of all of this? These are not dramatic breakdowns. They are quiet questions that run in the background like an app you cannot close. So if you have ever looked at a perfectly good life and still felt like something was quietly missing, it might not be a problem. It might be your brain doing exactly what intelligent brains do. Searching. Always searching. Now here is the part most videos like this leave out. Having these habits does not automatically mean you have a high IQ. And not having them does not mean you are not intelligent. Intelligence is not a checklist. It is a spectrum, and it shows up in ways psychology is still trying to fully understand. But if you recognized yourself in several of these patterns, it might be worth paying attention, not to feel superior, but to understand why your brain works the way it does. Because sometimes the things that make you feel strange are actually the things that make you sharp. If this video changed how you see yourself or someone you know, subscribe to Sci Factor X for daily psychology facts about human behavior and the things your brain does that nobody else notices.